Hi, everyone. Welcome. I am Tammy Vedovich. I am the Provost and Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs here at University of Wisconsin-Platteville. Welcome. Thank you for gathering here today to celebrate the Sesquicentennial Hall construction. Now, the first question you may be asking yourself is, why on earth are we having a ceremony when, as you can see, we are working on the building behind us? So this isn't really a groundbreaking. We weren't able to do a groundbreaking because of the pandemic, so we're celebrating the construction of this beautiful building behind us. Now that we can gather safely, we would like to celebrate the construction of Sesquicentennial Hall, a spectacular building that will transform the educational experiences of our students. Now, the second question you may be asking me is, why is it called Sesquicentennial Hall? And I have to say it like 11 or 12 times today, so just count every time I mess it up. At its root, sesqui means 1.5, and of course, centennial is 100. And the university was founded in 1866, and we celebrated our 150th Sesquicentennial anniversary as we were making the case in the state legislature for the needs of this facility. The name celebrates not only our first 150 years, but also the bright future this building will provide to UW-Platteville, as well as the far-reaching impact on students, the region, and the industry in this state. How you pronounce Sesquicentennial Hall is our gift to future students. Say it with me now. Sesquicentennial. Thank you very much. Now, if I have to say it that many times, so do you. So here we are today celebrating the construction of Sesquicentennial Hall. Thank you for joining us today as we thank the many people who made this day possible and hear several people speak on a variety of topics. And with that, we will begin with our Chancellor. Dennis J. Shields joined the university in 2010 as our Chancellor. Throughout his career, he has championed education excellence for all students, from accessible and affordable education to new academic programs that meet today's and the future's workforce, and to new buildings, including Sesquicentennial Hall, that enable us to deliver the mission. This renovation joins such projects under Chancellor's leadership as Southwest Hall, Roundtree Commons, Bridgeway Commons, Williams Fieldhouse, and the just completed Babel Hall renovations. Please welcome Chancellor Dennis J. Shields.
Thank you, and good afternoon and welcome. About a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, I was at a town hall meeting in one of our residence halls. And one of the students asked me about, well, when's Sasquatch Hall going to be done? So, a lot of different ways to say that word. Happy to be here to talk with you, and I think these moments are important to mark how these things happen more than anything. As I think I said at the ceremony for Babel Hall, oftentimes, as Tammy did, she said, oh, look at these buildings the Chancellor built. Well, actually, the Chancellor didn't build them. I was helpful in some ways, but a whole lot of people come together to make these kind of things happen. Everybody has to know their roles. I mean, I was participating in team athletics as I was growing up, and that's the lesson that I learned, that every member of the team has an important piece of whether or not the team is successful. This building project is one of the ways that we can continue to provide our campus, our staff, our students with the best possible environment to achieve their academic and professional goals. We are educating students for jobs of the future. The pandemic has and continues to shape our world and transform our campus. However, as I reflect back on the past year, one of the lessons that I learned is when we work together, we can achieve anything. And this project is another example of the collaborative spirit that we hope to amplify with this new building space. When we first started conversations about updating various campus facilities and structures, it was hard to imagine a path that was laid out before us. Now, Looking back, it is even more impressive to consider that we were able to work together to break ground on this project within the context of a global pandemic. Today's celebration of this $55 million project is just one example that is representative of what we can do and achieve together. It's really special for me to see former Dean Emeriti. I don't want to use that because sounds old, okay? But Dean Emeriti, Molly Gribb, for her leadership and vision of having all of engineering under one roof. And also our current Dean, Philip Parker, and the entire College of EMS for making and helping in the planning and oftentimes compromising creatively to share lab spaces and other resources. To former provost, former dean, former professor, Joanne Wilson, who over the years contributed mightily to the university in a number of ways, but certainly in helping to shepherd as provost the planning of this building. Vice Chancellor Rose Smirsky for her work with the legislators. And Ron Meisen, an alum and a significant donor, for his push to help us make this a LEED certified facility. We have two important guests here with whom this wouldn't have been possible. About 4.5 years ago, Senator Howard Markline used his ability to have the Joint Finance Committee meet here. And he'll probably talk a little bit about that. But no doubt that was a major part of making this happen. The other side of the legislature, the Assembly, Travis Tranel is here, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Todd Novak because he was important to this, but they made sure their colleagues in the Assembly supported not just this project, but Babel Hall. These buildings would not be possible without the support and hard work of those individuals. Finally, there are people who do the day-to-day work to make these things kind of happen. The ones that usually have dirt under their fingernails. Vice Chancellor Paige Smith and our facilities team. Some people, like when they're afraid that something's going to go sideways, they flee and leave and go work someplace like Madison. That's Pete Davis, right? He beat a hasty retreat, but he showed up both for this and for Babel. He wants to take some credit. I kid. I'm an old guy, so I know these old sayings. In some ways, Pete and his team are like one-armed paper hangers, right? They're trying to do so much for this campus. He and John Niehaus and Katrina. I'm just going to say Katrina because I'm going to butcher that last name if I do it. But those are the people every day. If the toilet's flush, if the floors are clean, they show up when it rains real hard and everything floods, and they help day to day make sure these projects move forward. My gratitude to all of those folks for what they've done. In addition to these folks, I'd also like to mention that we've had some significant philanthropic gifts to support this project. I think approaching $1 million already. We're still working on a naming, but we can't forget the donors who will make this special in ways that help directly the students. The facility is going to be paid for itself, but the student employment, the undergraduate research opportunities, the makerspace, all of that is being and the LEED certification I mentioned already is all being made possible in large part by philanthropic gifts from our donors and corporate sponsorships. Finally, the entire campus for helping us celebrate this event. It's a remarkable day and a day worth noting. This event and the people involved in making this happen are the reason why I say every day is a great day to be a pioneer. Thank you.
So I don't know about you all, but the noise behind me is just music to my ears. It's a wonderful noise. It's progress and innovation. So we're just going to keep talking through it. These renovations, as Chancellor said, would not happen without the support of our state government. Howard Markline has been in the state legislature since 2010, serving twice in the Assembly, and serving as our state senator since 2014. He's the co-chair of the Joint Committee on Finance and was instrumental in bringing the state's budget writing committee for a listening session to UW-Platteville in 2010, which led to the passing of Sesquicentennial Hall. Please welcome our state senator from Spring Green, Wisconsin, Howard Markline.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Great day to be back in Platteville. What are we going to do next month, Chancellor? I mean, this is kind of a nice habit to get into, and it's wonderful all the construction that's going on campus here, and the construction is kind of the tail end of a lot of work that occurred to get this process going here. So the engineering program at UW-Platteville is very near and dear to my heart and my family's. My brother is an engineering grad from Platteville. My godson, my nephew is. We got a lot of Platteville engineering discipline in our family, and so very, very proud of that. As Chancellor mentioned, it was about 4.5 years ago in 2017 when the idea of two projects, Babel and the Sesquicentennial, how'd I do? Hall, was first talked about, and $78 million. I mean, it's a big number, and but and I probably won't share with you. Like I was like, God, there's no way we're gonna get both of them, but we gave it a try. So. Anyway, and that was my second year on the Joint Finance Committee. I was not co-chair yet, but I lobbied hard to have the first public hearing here at UW-Platteville, and that was on April 3rd of 2017. And as I've shared at the Babel Hall event, it was perfect. It was a drizzly, dreary, gray, damp, dark day. The kind of day when you want to show off facilities that need improvement. And my colleagues, I'd already gotten the pitch from the Chancellor and from Rose Smirsky. But so I believed in it, but I needed my colleagues on Joint Finance to also believe in it. And so after the public hearing here on April 5th, we went to West Allis. April 7th, we went to Berlin. April 18th, we went to Spooner. April 19th, we went to Ellsworth. And on April 21st, we had the final public hearing in Marinette. And the reason I bring those locations up is that at every single one of those public hearings, it wasn't just Platteville. We went, all over the state of Wisconsin, okay? And at every single one of them, Rose Smirsky was there, and Platteville engineering alums were there. And so and that's so important because it was clear to me and clear to the committee that the investment that we would make here in Platteville would have economic benefits far beyond Southwest Wisconsin. Obviously, we've got an incredible number of alums from your engineering program employed in our district, in my Senate district, but the impact around the state of Wisconsin is incredible. So again, we came back. By the time we got done with the public hearings, we were able to make a strong case to members of the Joint Finance Committee, and so we got that approved and went through the Building Commission, obviously, and so anyway, we're here today again. Congratulations, UW-Platteville, and thank you to everybody that had any kind of a role in getting this done, and I look forward to the completed project next year, and look forward to students being in the building behind me. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator Markline. We are fortunate to have two state representatives associated with this campus. Representative Todd Novak, who could not attend today, serves the district that includes the world's largest M, while our next speaker's district includes the main campus. Representative Travis Tranel was first elected to the Wisconsin State Assembly in 2010 and has been re-elected every term since. He is a fifth-generation dairy farmer on his family farm in southern Grant County outside of Cuba City. Representative Tranel has been a strong champion for the university, including this building, as well as serving as an influential voice for the agricultural industry. For instance, he serves on the UW-Platteville Advisory Board for the Dairy Innovation Hub. And I wish I'd had a recording, but he admitted today that he thinks the people on this campus are really smart. So please welcome State Representative Travis Tranel.
I totally agree with Tammy. They're very smart, but Sesquicentennial, that's a lot harder to say than Markline, so there's still some work to do, but I'll let that there. I just want to say, thank you for the opportunity to represent you and represent this campus, because when I spoke, when we did a similar event at Babel Hall, we talked about how, quite honestly, luck and the weather and the ability to get the committee through Babel is what really led to bringing that project over the finish line. With this particular project, I'll never forget the first conversation that Howard and I had about this, because we were like, hey, did Rose talk to you? Yeah. How many projects? They want 2 now? Yeah, they want 2. Which, say what you want about the legislature, but we look at demographics, we look at enrollment numbers, we see what the future is going to be. And building new projects on any campus is a tough thing to get through the legislature in the current environment that we're in. But when I look at this project and I listen to what's going on behind me, quite honestly, your reputation is what built this. Because people know Platteville, UW-Platteville specifically, they know that they can count on their engineering grads. And like Howard said, it doesn't matter where you're at in the state of Wisconsin, the engineering program at UW-Platteville is respected. And so when our colleagues heard that you were interested and needed another building to the tune of $50, $60, $70 million, it was a challenge, but it was a challenge that we were able to overcome thanks to the good work that you do day in and day out here and have done now for generations. So our job, quite frankly, is to be an advocate and a cheerleader for the people that we're fortunate to represent, and you make that very easy to do. And you all know Howard and I, we need all the help we can get, so we thank you for that.
Thank you, Representative Tranel. While it took great teamwork and effort to secure funding for this building, it took that same collaborative spirit to design and construct this facility. So one of the challenges of holding a ceremony like this is trying to individually recognize all that have contributed to it. So what I would like to do is recognize the companies here today. Our architects are from BWBR, led by Devin Little, construction architect, and Lee Straight, project manager. I imagine it is a little daunting to design an engineering building that will house faculty and staff with hundreds of years of combined teaching experience and such passionate commitment to our students. So we are grateful to BWBR for welcoming faculty input into the design of this facility. Would the BWBR architects please stand? Thank you so much. Myron Construction is the company responsible for the 3 stories you see behind me. I would like to recognize 2 people in particular from Myron. Intern Matt Babich, UW-Platteville construction management student, and Jason Withrow, junior project manager and recent UW-Platteville graduate. Would Matt and Jason please stand? Myron Construction is led here today by Jason Recobb, Senior Vice President, Teresa Lehman, Director of Sustainable Services, Tyle Tremmel, Project Executive, and Travis Scott, Project Superintendent. Would everyone from Myron Construction please stand and be recognized? We also want to thank Myron for working with us to install the structural beam, which you will have one last opportunity to sign immediately after the ceremony before it gets lifted onto the roof. As I mentioned before, the UW-Platteville faculty and staff had incredible input into all aspects of this building, and we want to highlight a few people. Former Dean Molly Gribb and current Acting Dean Philip Parker, Vice Chancellor for Administrative Services Paige Smith, Vice Chancellor for University Relations Rose Smirsky, retired Provost Joanne Wilson, Campus Planner Doug Stevens, our campus engineers, first Pete Davis and Katrina Hachimovich, and all the faculty and staff who added their expertise along the way. Now this is going to be fun to see. Would all those from UW-Platteville that I just mentioned who contributed to Sesquicentennial Hall please stand? We thank you all for your efforts. Faculty and staff are also supposed to stand. All right, Christina. And Jody, I mean, you guys sat there. What's up? I am now going to turn over the program to the College of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science to highlight some of the unique features that will make this building transformational. Please welcome Dean of the College of EMS, Philip Parker.
It's kind of exciting. We talk about Sesquicentennial Hall being our baby. Many of us claim it as our baby. And this is maybe like the 6-month ultrasound that we're looking at today, but it's really exciting. Looking forward so much to it being completed. Before I do anything else, I really have to thank Senator Markline and Representative Tranel, because that is because a lot of people, but much because of them. So thank you so much. So we're going to have, as you could see, 5 of us speaking about different features of our Sesquicentennial Hall, and you got to listen carefully. We intentionally have threaded 3 themes through our remarks, okay? So the first one is following up on Chancellor Shields, is all about collaboration. So that's the first one. And we have a representative from DOA, and they, to me, exemplify what we mean by collaboration. DOA, Department of Administration, has been a wonderful collaborator in this project. I appreciate that very much. The next theme is what I call the power of listening. And Lee Strite, you and your team have inspired that theme in my mind. So BWBR has this culture of listening, and that sounds simple, but it's so powerful. So that's our second theme. And the third theme is really easy. We couldn't help but get a lot of gratitude in our remarks, because this makes us all really thankful. So if you look at your lineup, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to talk a little bit about our environmental mission. Jessica Fick is going to talk about everything we're doing to support interdisciplinary studies in that building. Dr. Jody Procyse is going to talk about our amazingly large and inclusive and exciting makerspace that we're calling their Innovation Center. Tammy Salmon Stevens is going to talk about how this building was specifically designed with students in mind and how to support those students. And then we'll end with Praise Obiladon, who's going to talk about how he and other student entrepreneurs are going to benefit from this building. And as they go through their comments, as we go through our remarks, I want to recognize Dean Molly Gribb, because many of these represent her vision from the start. So you're going to hear things that she thought of and she helped us put in that building. So thank you very much, Molly. Okay, let's transition to the first one. I want to talk about our environmental mission, and this has really been informed by two sets of people. One is, we've already heard about Ron Meissen. He made the first donation to the building, and he's a true leader in this area. My one-word definition of leader is influencer, and I know he's influenced Chancellor Shields, he's influenced Molly, he's influenced our Director of Sustainability, Amy Seaworth-Wilson, and he's influenced me. And so a lot of what we're talking about here with our environmental mission and vision for this building comes from Ron's influence. And then the students, we listen to the students. There's our theme of listening, right? We listen to students. Chancellor Shields talks about students coming in his office and saying, we want solar panels, and they got their solar panels right down there, right? They talked to us. They talked to Amy Seaworth-Wilson. We listen to our students, and they really want this building to have a strong environmental mission. So let me talk a little bit about some of the environmental features to this building. And so my background is environmental engineering, and one of the first things I have to do with students is to clear up some misconceptions that environmental engineering is not environmental wackoism. Okay, that's why I just made up that word, right? It uses math, it uses science, it uses logic, it uses reason to look ahead to make smart business decisions. So the features I'm going to go through real quickly here are just that. They're not these hippie things. they're going to directly help our bottom line and help our university. So the first one is we're going to have solar panels on the roof, and the second one is it's an incredibly energy efficient building, saving money for the taxpayers of Wisconsin, right? The second one, we're going to have electric vehicle charging stations in the parking lot. And if you think that's wasteful, really, you need those? There's not that many electric vehicles out there. Go Google electric vehicle trends and see where that graph is going, right? So we're thinking ahead. We're going to have state-of-the-art stormwater system that will be beautiful. And that's not just because I'm an environmental engineer saying that. It's going to be gorgeous, and it's going to be a teaching tool for our students. And finally, we're going to have really excellent bicycle infrastructure. The practical side of that, taking pressure off our parking. And for people from outside of Platteville, you're probably saying parking problem at Platteville, and we could say at least there's a perceived parking issue on our campus. Finally, all of these things, and I'm sure our elected officials can relate to this, anything sustainability related involves trade-offs, it involves lots of collaboration, and that includes with our students, our faculty, all our different stakeholders, and there's been a lot of collaboration. And as a result of all this building will be LEED certified. And so LEED certification is the most common, the most recognized certification for a green building, and we're going to get LEED certified. And what it does is it puts a stamp of approval on our building and on our mission of how environmentally conscious we want it to be. Lots of people say they have a green building. I've heard people say, we have a green building, but it's not LEED certified, but it could be. Ours is LEED certified, it's transparent, it's honest. This building is doing what we said it would do. So with that, Dr. Jessica Fick, please.
The design of Sesquicentennial Hall began long before we had any idea of where it would be located or what it would house. I want to say thank you to the faculty and staff for their willingness to share space to make this vision to have all of engineering and computer science under one roof. It was not without sacrifices and compromises, but it made these spaces that much more meaningful and pave the way for flexible spaces that will allow us to expand into future technology and fields, which are much like our IIoT, Internet of Things, testbed. Our stakeholders in manufacturing remind us repeatedly that there are very few pure one engineering discipline projects, and we listened. Software engineers need to know more about mechanical engineering, industrial engineers need to know more about computer science, and STEM majors in general need to know more about business aspects. In my 5+ years of teaching mechanical engineering senior design, I've seen this time and again. My first semester, we challenged 2 teams to find a way to recycle hummus. In the plant, hummus is packaged and then randomly sampled for taste and texture. If it doesn't pass, this could mean a whole semi of packaged hummus would be just tossed in the dumpster. Our sponsor saw an opportunity to depackage the product and recycle not only the packaging, but to use the hummus for livestock feed. My 2 teams approached this in very different ways, but one thing was very clear. The solution involved agriculture, sustainability, quality control, mechanical design, automation, controls, potentially sensors, and programming. This building was designed with these interactions and collaborations in mind, and we are already taking steps to blur those lines between the engineering disciplines, all the STEM fields, and really all specialties. We have a number of initiatives underway. Our interdisciplinary senior design and proposed certificate allows students to work on projects that are typical of what they'll see in industry and get exposure to other fields. The building itself is an interdisciplinary learning tool. In partnership with the Department of Administration, we are developing an augmented reality building educational experience, or RB for short, that will allow us to experience hundreds of details of the building that cross all engineering and technical disciplines. From understanding the structural elements of the building to the heating and ventilation, to using sensors to understand our energy usage. This tool will educate not only visitors, students, and faculty alike, but it will be integrated into our courses. Imagine holding up your camera phone and having the overlay of maybe an electrical diagram for that electrical panel, or seeing the data for the rainwater flow off the roof come through on that camera phone. So the possibilities that we see with this are only limited by the imagination we have. And now I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Jody Procyse.
Sesquicentennial Hall will be home to one of the largest maker spaces in the Midwest, with more than 1,500 square feet of space that will support innovators from all backgrounds, including all majors across campus, as well as those within our community and beyond campus. The Huff Family Innovation Center will strive to make all users, regardless of major, underrepresented status, or level of experience, feel welcome to participate. We will create programming that will attract a variety of users to the space and foster the entrepreneurial mindset of students, staff, and community. This amazing space wouldn't be possible without great planning. Our teams visited makerspaces and spoke to countless folks who plan and implement these spaces. We listened to what they had to say so we could create the most amazing collaboration space possible. This space will not only have machining, welding, and 3D printing capabilities, but will also support innovation with design studios and soft prototyping areas. The Huff Family Innovation Center will be home to the Pioneer Prototyping Services that will provide support to entrepreneurs throughout our region through innovation teams of faculty and students that will help entrepreneurs take their ideas from napkin sketches to fully developed reality. With the help of the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation and Creative Adventure Labs, we will use this service to support the development of the Platteville community into a hub of technology innovation. Thank you to the Huff family for their generous support of the Huff Family Innovation Center, and to all of those who have put so much work into the design and implementation of this truly amazing space. We are so excited to see all the awesome things that our students and faculty will do because of it. And now I'd like to welcome Ms. Tammy Salmon-Stevens.
Thank you, Jody. What about the energy on this campus today, huh? We have like 300 some high school students on construction day, music over there, and this. It's a pretty amazing day. So thank you for being here. I'm so delighted that all of you have come here to commemorate and celebrate. When I think about how we got to this point, I am overwhelmed with gratitude. I distinctly remember large groups of my colleagues and students gathering, dreaming, discussing, and daring to think differently about this space. This moment seemed a long ways away, and yet here we are. Sure. We engaged our students for input, and we heard you loud and clear regarding your needs. We listened as you presented new and different ideas that we really didn't think about. It is an amazing experience to collaborate and engage with our students, and also they bring a lot of energy to our conversations. I have witnessed the power of intentional student success initiatives over and over. Quite simply, providing an accessible opportunity to learn is life transforming, and now I have goosebumps for saying that. These intentional strategies do impact whether or not a student decides to or can continue their education. Providing intentional spaces, programming, and employment for students creates a sense of community and belonging in our educational community. That's very, very important. I hope you see the themes that Philip talked about earlier. And if you know me, you know that I'm not going to conclude without talking about the importance of collaboration. This multi-million-dollar building is a shining example of what can happen if collaboration is at the heart of our planning process. The synergy, can you feel it today? I can. The synergy created in this planning process will be evident as literally thousands of people use this space for many, many years. And yes, it's true this space will be home for many of us in the College of EMS. However, it is a space for all members of our campus to collaborate and learn, especially in our Huff Family Innovation Center. I can hardly wait to see what creations develop in our innovation spaces. I now get the distinct privilege of introducing one of our students. Praise Obilidon is going to come up and make some concluding remarks. Praise.
Thank you, Tammy. So, I'll begin by mentioning that last year, 2020, I was a contestant in the 2020 YSIS Hackathon, where me and my partner constructed a prototype for a safety lighting system for bicycles on the road. The construction of this prototype required the use of many disciplines and tools such as 3D printing, programming, soldering, and designing circuits. And while I was fortunate enough to have many of the tools I needed to make this project on hand, such as a 3D printer and various soldering irons, having a facility such as Sesquicentennial Hall's makerspace that's upcoming here would have seriously boosted my ability to, I'd say, create the prototype faster and more efficiently, as well as also achieve a. Okay, so I've always wished for more tools and resources on our campus that would help facilitate some of my bigger projects, such as my bicycle, my electric bicycle I'm recently working on. That one has come through to require some I'd say CNC machinery would have made a lot of the parts in that project a lot easier. So while what we have on campus right now is adequate at times, it can be also quite limited at times because the makerspaces we have currently are quite spread out and also sometimes pretty hard to find. So I know that myself and some of the other students have been requesting more facilities that can facilitate our creativity and prototype development. And I'm grateful to the leaders here today and not here today who have listened to our requests and have made the construction of this building possible. So although I'll be graduating this upcoming spring semester and I will not get to utilize this building personally myself, which I'm kind of envious about, I do look forward to coming back to the campus post-graduation to see the final forms of Sesquicentennial Hall here. So, as I mentioned, our current offerings are quite adequate, but there are definitely room for improvement, and I'm very grateful to see I'm very grateful and excited to see the developments come out of this campus in the future due to the creation of this building behind me. Thank you.
Thank you, Praise. Thank you, Dean Parker in the College of EMS. It is now time to lift the structural beam to the roof of dang it, I thought I could get through it. Sesquicentennial Hall. If you haven't had a chance to sign it, please go over and do so now, because then Myron Construction will be putting the beam permanently into place. There are also refreshments behind you, behind here, and you're welcome to partake of those. But please, thank you for coming today as we celebrate the construction of this wonderful building. Enjoy your day.